Jussie Smollet has been arrested and he has been charged. And remember, you have to think about this. There was a moment when Jussie Smollet was thinking something to himself like, should I enjoy my talent and success and thank God for all my blessings? Or should I hoax the police and pretend to be a victim and risk disgrace and prison? Well, I won't tell it now, but that orange head joke I talk about, the guy who wished for an orange head, Jussie Smollett, there he is. So he wanted to get beat up in Chicago. Well, the superintendent of police, Eddie Johnson, gave him exactly what he wanted, smacked him around, but good. This is the first cut where he talks about what Jussie Smollett was doing, cut 11.
This announcement today recognizes that Empire actor Jussie Smollett took advantage of the pain and anger of racism to promote his career. I'm left hanging my head and asking why. Why would anyone, especially an African-American man, use the symbolism of a noose to make false accusations? How could someone look at the hatred and suffering associated with that symbol and see an opportunity to manipulate that symbol to further his own public profile? How can an individual who's been embraced by the city of Chicago turn around and slap everyone in this city in the face by making these false claims?
See, the thing is, if you want to get smacked in Chicago, you want to get smacked by a couple of brothers you hired yourself, not by the chief of police, because that's not a good situation. He's been charged with a felony count of disorderly conduct. But here's the interesting thing. After Superintendent Johnson, finished smacking Jussie around, he went after the media. And this is what he said. Listen to this.
When we discovered the actual motive, quite frankly, it pissed everybody off, because we have to invest valuable resources. A lot of what I want you all to really understand is when you all put things out there into the universe that's not actual facts, then it causes us to have to chase all that stuff down. Those are resources and time spent that we'll never get back, that we could utilize for another investigation.
No disrespect to the superintendent when I say explaining what a fact is to the news media is a very, very difficult thing to do. They're going to, a fact, could you spell that for us? When I was a reporter, I once said to a cop, you and I, we both work for the people. And he said, no, you work for a corporation. I work for the people. That's right. The police are the ones looking for fact. The news organizations work for corporations and are selling a point of view that the corporations want you to believe. If you don't believe this, let me show you an amazing, amazing cut. I'm going to play this first and then comment on it afterwards of Don Lemon. Now, I understand picking on Don Lemon is picking on a guy who can't think very well, but still, Don Lemon is reacting to this thing that he was trying to sell as, a symbolic of what America is like during the tyranny of the Trump administration. And now it's been caught out. And he's talking to to Joey Jackson, their legal analyst. All right, this is cut number 8, not cut number 7. It's cut number 8. And he's talking about what has just happened to Jussie Smollett as he gets charged.
A good lawyer can get you out just about anything, right? Or reduce whatever it is that you're going to suffer. In the court of public opinion, Jussie has lost. He's lost the fight in the court of public opinion. Yeah. And that's where his battle is. Whether legally, if he has to go, whatever he has to serve, if it's jail time, if he has to do probation, if he has to pay, whatever. But in the court of public opinion,
it matters.
It matters. And he lost that because of how, and not his fault, maybe people were, I don't know what they were saying to him, how maybe because of his representatives, who knows?
I don't know.
But it was handled poorly.
I don't know if it's not his fault, Don.
You think it's his fault? You think he was doing what he wanted?
Well, he went out and he gave the interview. So understand this. Now let's talk from a defense perspective. There's two things to think about. Number one is the law and whether it makes sense legally to be out there speaking and everything else. From that perspective, it's damning. All those things you heard him say on TV are going to be played in a courtroom. From a public relations imperative, your people say, oh, get in front of the cameras, express what happened, show some real anger and show some this, that, the other. The fact is that works from a public relations perspective, but it doesn't work in this perspective.
It doesn't work.
He's trying to explain. I just wonder. I wish I could read Joey Jackson's mind in that moment, because this is the guy. He's trying to explain to him the difference. He says, "Well, it's not his fault he lost in the court of the public opinion." And Joey Jackson says, "Wait, the facts." Now he's dealing with people who deal with the facts. When you're in a courtroom, yeah, there's emotion, but basically you're dealing with the cops, you're dealing with the courts, you're dealing with the facts. And he was not, or allegedly, he made this whole thing up. He hired these guys to basically attack him and make him into a victim because he was tired of being a successful TV star. You know, like who wants to be on the left, who wants to be a successful TV star if you can be a victim? But more than that, he was trying to impose his imagination onto the world. He imagines that under the tyranny of Donald Trump, he imagines he's persecuted. He imagines the world is a terrible place. He's just not getting the love. They're also saying he may have sent that threat to himself through the mail, and that could be a federal crime. He could really be in trouble there. But basically, he's got this image in his head, and when the world is not living up to that image in his head, he's going to impose it on the world. Unfortunately, he's dealing with the cops who don't like when you do that, because the cops like the facts. And Don Lemon doesn't know the difference. What's the problem with what happened to Jussie Smollett in Don Lemon's mind? It's not that he got the world wrong. It's not that he jumped on this false story because he has a false perception of the world, which would be what I would be asking myself. Why did I make this mistake? That's what you ask. When you make a mistake, you say, why did I make a mistake? What did I do wrong? Where did I get this wrong? Where was I coming from? Where was my bias? Not if you're Don Lemon. Here's the problem with this story blowing up in Lemon's face.
Now, every single moment in cable news, Sean Hannity's going to eat Jussie Smollett's lunch every single second. Tucker Carlson is going to eat Jussie Smollett's lunch every single second.
The president of the
United States is going to eat his lunch. And who does the president of the United States watch every night?
You.
Cable news. Yeah, well, cable news. And so that's all I'm saying.
They let the Republican out of the room and he pounced. That was good. Play that again. I like that. That's the Republicans. They're pouncing. And that's the problem. It's not, the problem is he might lose this battle for the imaginations of the public because his imagination doesn't represent the world instead of changing his mind.